I know it's here somewhere. Finally. Oh, it's time for the doctor. You're listening to Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. Take it away, doctor.
Well, it's that time again, and the doctor is in. It's time once again for Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. And this week, we have more stuff for you, as usual. We are also proud members of the Tech Podcast Network, techpodcast.com if it's tech. It's right here on Dr. Bill, the computer curmudgeon. We're also proud members of the International Association of Internet Broadcasters. Yes, indeed. We're reporting to you about things that I have blogged this past week. The blog, of course, being the official drbill.tv blog, where you can get all your tech news, your geek culture, your geek software of the week, your geek website of the week. Say that 10 times fast. And many other things of interest. Yes. Okay, let's dive right in, shall we? First of all, let me say this. There are those of you that watch this show a lot. And you enjoy it. And you think I'm a little bit nutty. Yeah, I can see that. But you have never become a patron of the show. We'd love for you to become a patron of the show. We have it displayed right here on the screen on the lower third, where you may connect with me on patreon.com/Dr. Bill. And if you do that, it will greatly help the show, even if it's just $1 a month, or $1 a week, or $1 every 32 seconds. That would be nice. But, I know I'm dreaming pipe dreams, but whatever you could do would be handy, because you ask, Dr. Bill, what would you do with the finances that come in? I would use it to get stuff that I could then review and show you and increase the technology of the program and just do more things, more geeky, techie things with it. I'd love to make a ton of money and be independently wealthy, but that's not likely. Particularly since YouTube has decided that they're not going to let me monetize the show through their googly systems, because there's not enough humans out there watching the show yet. I say yet, because I know you're out there. You're out there somewhere. You just need to hit the red subscribe button and become an official subscriber. Just click on it. Do that. Alrighty. First item. A 30 terabyte. Now think about that. Most computers might have a 1 terabyte hard drive in them. This is a 30 terabyte solid state drive. An SSD in your computer that basically has all the space of a data center at your fingertips. That's pretty exciting stuff. 30.72 terabytes of storage. The most storage ever crammed into a 2.5-inch form factor. Designed for enterprise customers looking to move away from the mechanical parts of your standard disk-based hard drive. So, I'd love to be able to do that. That would cost serious bucks, though, you can imagine. Or maybe you can't imagine. I don't know. It boggles the mind. Next item. Intel to release firmware to combat Spectre. As you know, Spectre, also known as Meltdown, the Spectre Meltdown, what would you call them? Attacks? Compromising software? that has been created to take advantage of the Intel and actually AMD fragilities. I like that. I just made that word up. Fragile and utility. Fragility. No, but anyway, I don't know. They have come up with code, microcode, to combat this, which I give them at least a kudo. You know what I'm saying? Because they're at least trying to address it. Better than doing nothing. And we'll see later why that's so important for them. The next item we have here is a YouTube video about YouTube videos. How meta is that? This is YouTube answering the burning question, what about the YouTube Partner Program changes? Basically, we don't like you no more. It's kind of what they're saying. These are the recent changes made in the YouTube Partner Program. You can find out all about them from Matt here, from the YouTube Creator Academy. He says his own show has been delisted. It's pretty bad when you think about it. Yeah. But anyway, check it out, watch the video, see what the changes are, and see if you're not as annoyed as I am. All right, next item. Angry Birds Champions. Now, Angry Birds and I have an interesting relationship. I played Angry Birds when it first came out, kind of enjoyed it. Not so much anymore. It's kind of gotten old, you know what I'm saying? Yes, Fred, so have I. He never ceases to rib me about such things just because I have a little gray in the hair. Actually, maybe more than a little gray in the hair. But anyway, good old Fred. Gotta love Fred somehow. Anyway, so I did play Angry Birds. This is a new version of Angry Birds called Angry Birds Champions. They have a first look video here to show you what it's like unto. Angry Birds, it's for ages 18 plus because you can win money from Angry Birds. All you have to do is play the game and be really, really good at it. And you will be able to actually win real live money. Not fake money, not Angry Bird money, not money that's just in the game, but real, actual money. I am not going to play it that much, okay? So we got a long wait there. But it's a thing, and we like to talk about things that are things here on the Dr. Bill Show. This is geek culture, so go forth and indulge in geek culture. All right, next item, Sling TV. This is a cord cutter thing. Sling TV grows by 47%. Now, Dish Network owns Sling TV, but for the first time it is separated out, you know, statistically speaking, the Dish TV subscribers from the Sling TV subscribers. The company revealed the figures at its year-end financials for 2017. Dish says that Sling TV accounts for 2.212 million. That's pretty accurate. 2.212 million of its 13.242 million. Wow, what are they? Monk or something here? Anyway, pay TV subscribers. And they told us that this represents a 47% growth year on year, which is a financial term for from 1 year to the next year, including the year of which you are speaking whereof. Yes. This contrasts with its legacy satellite TV service, which, by the way, satellite TV services are going down the tubes. They are spinning around the drain as they go down because they're being replaced by IPTV delivery, Internet Protocol Television delivery. That would be set-top boxes, for instance. So you could get a Sling TV account, sign up for it, and access it through your Roku, for instance, a set-top box, and get all your cable channels that they offer. Just, a few. That's good. Oh, well, yeah, more than a few. It's 50 to 80, somewhere in that range. And it's around $20 a month. That's where it starts. You could go up from there. But you could save a lot of money over cable by going that route. So check that out. Become one of the increasing percentage of folk that are cutting the cord and going with these services. Sling TV is a very, 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 very popular service in that regard. All right, next item, Intel and AMD face lawsuits. This is why I said that it's good that they're trying to fix this, because otherwise they're going to have class action suits like this, that they are being taken to task over the Spectre attacks. Sounds like part of a science fiction movie. Spectre attacks. But these are CPU flaws, and because they are CPU flaws, then they are taken advantage of, and people get their information compromised, and people bring class action lawsuits because that's what Americans do, and they strip money from large corporations when they can. Let's be honest. Okay. An electric Harley update. That sounds like it would be a song. The electric Harley update. Probably a country western song or a country rock song. Well, the electric Harley update. That kind of thing. Anyway, I mentioned this back in June of 2014. And if you click on the link here for the drbill.tv netcast number 342, which is where I talked about the electric Harley originally, Project Livewire, I was amazed. I played it and went, dude, this guy's face looks really fat. I know I was talking about me. 2014, that was like, 4-ish years ago since it's 2018. I could do math. I have to think about it first, but I can do it. So, 4 years ago, I was quite a bit larger. Now I'm quite a bit skinnier. Matter of fact, I got my beard trimmed and my hair cut, although you can't tell because I'm wearing the hat. But they actually did a really good job. Great clips. You did great clips. Right? Yes. So they trimmed my beard. They made me look like I actually am not a bum. Yes, Fred. The jury is still out. Sigh. Okay. Moving right along, TechCrunch reports that Harley-Davidson will launch its first production e-motorcycle in 2019. That's next year. Now, in 2014, they were saying it's a couple of years away. So, it's taking them a while. You know what I'm saying? They're working on the technology. They're also working on the infrastructure that they need to provide an electrified motorcycle. It'll be a 460-pound battery, which will power the machine. Fortunately, it will be low to the ground so that it'll be, the weight ratio will make it very stable. And it will be very, very fast with a lot of torque. Yes, which will make it fun. It will have 75 horsepower, 135-mile range, and a $10,000 price tag. Electric vehicles from these new ventures are closing the gap on gas bikes in price, performance, weight, recharge times, and ride distance. And of course, it will be off the line very, very fast. With a 93 mile an hour top speed. Imagine going 93 miles an hour with no sound. Just the sound of your wheel on the asphalt. You know what I'm saying? Whoa. That'll be weird. Anyway, watch the video of Project Livewire. It is splendid and worthwhile, and I encourage you to do so. Whoa! That would normally indicate the Geek Software of the Week, right, Fred? Geek Software of the Week. That's what we normally use the drum roll for. Yes, Fred, you're right. I don't have any Geek Software of the Week this week. I have a Geek Website of the Week, though. And it's pert now on the being software. Kind of. It is, in fact, the font Squirrel Matcherator. You gotta love a name like that. That's almost geek culture in and of itself. The font Squirrel Matcherator. This is from a website called fontsquirrel.com. I give them a thumbs up for squirrel in the name. I'm a big fan of squirrel mail, so Font Squirrel just fits right in with my zeitgeist. Anyway, the Font Squirrel Matcherator. Here's the situation I found myself in. I had an image, like a JPG or an MPEG file, not an MPEG file, but a JPG file or a PNG file, portable network graphic kind of file, and it had fonts in it. And I wanted to use that font on something else. And I said to myself, what font is that? Was it Arial? It wasn't Comic Sans, thank goodness. It wasn't any number of other fonts. So, I thought, how do I derive the font from this image? I need a website that I can upload the image to and have that website tell me what font it is. And oh, by the way, while you're at it, offer me a free downloadable version of that font that I can install in my fonts folder. Did you know you have a fonts folder? Why, yes you do. It's on C:\\Windows. Is it backslash or /? Let's look, shall we? Before I go spouting off here, let's go to C. And then let's go to Windows, which is what I said it was. And then let's look at the slash direction. It is, in fact, a backslash. C:\\Windows \again System32. Yes, I know, System32. You got to click it right. Otherwise it goes ding and gets annoying. And then there is under that a directory with a capital F, which begins with F. Yes, Fred, F usually begins with F. He's no help. Let me just order this by actual alphabetization. F, where are you? Guess what? It's not under System 32. There's your problem, guys. It's under Windows fonts, which starts with F. Forget the System 32. Stay out of there. Don't go there. You'll get in trouble. And I'll tell your mommy. C:\\Windows \fonts. Drop the font file, like a TrueType font, a TTF file, in that subdirectory called fonts, and it will install a font in your system so that when you bring up your image editor, you'll have the font available. Yeesh. That was a long way to get to a simple thing. But anyway. So Geek Website of the Week is the Font Squirrel Matcherator. Find your font. By the way, the font I was looking for is Bank Gothic. That was the font. And I found it, which is good. And I got it from Font Squirrel, I think. If not, I found it somewhere on the web. But anyway. Dropbox. This is the next item, by the way. Dropbox has an IPO coming up. Initial public offering for those of you in Rio Linda. Basically, that means that they are going public and you can buy stock and make $11 billion. You hope. Off the IPO. If I had a bunch of money, I probably would put it in Dropbox. However, I am not a financial expert. I know nothing about stocks. And if you take my advice, you are a complete maroon. But I would like to invest in it just because. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's there. It's like Everest. It's just there. Anyway, they're supposed to release their IPO sometime in March, which would be next month. Because this is still February. Barely February, but it's still technically February. So keep your eye open if you want to sink some money into Dropbox. If stocks have been doing really well, I wish I was in the stock market making tons of money. I basically don't have anything in the stock market except, your usual IRA kind of stuff. That's in a fund that somebody else manages and does a good job with, so more power to them. Anyway, next item, Google Assistant will identify languages. So you could hablo español and it will tell you, dude, you're speaking Spanish. Except in a googly voice. So, it doesn't work yet. But let's see what happens if I were to go to my Pixel 2 and squeeze it and say, hablo español un poco.
Here is information from SpanishNet.
See, it identified it as Spanish. Isn't that cool? I said, I speak a little Spanish. Let me squeeze it again. No hablo inglés.
These are the top results.
Yo no hablo español. Hi, that's cute. It tells me that it doesn't speak Spanish. I told it I don't speak English. No, I said I don't speak Spanish. No hablo español. Yes, that's what I said. I had to think about it. I took Spanish in high school. And you can tell how well I did. Anyway. I can say, ¿Dónde está el baño? Where's the bathroom? That's the only important thing you need to know. Where's the bathroom? If you're in a Spanish-speaking country, you gotta know where you put the bathroom. I mean, really, that's important. I also used to be able to ask if I could sharpen my pencil in Spanish, because in Spanish class you had to ask to do such things in Spanish. The total immersion, how to learn how to speak. Hablo de español. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know I do it with a terrible Spanish accent. I'm aware. I was actually on a plane one time. And this is a fun story. This is one of those fun Dr. Bill stories that I always tell at those particular points that I tell the fun stories in, which my wife always goes, why do you tell the same stories over and over and over? Because that's the way my brain works. Ugh. Yes, Fred, it does actually work occasionally. Boy, he's getting annoying today, isn't he? Anyway, I was on the plane. There was this lady behind me, and she was just going to town in Spanish, talking to herself. Which, hey, I'm down with that. I do that. Fred, after all, is an imaginary friend. So she's talking away, and I got up the courage, and I mean I had to get up the courage to ask her if I could help in Spanish. And she launched into this, oh, it's wonderful that you speak Spanish, blah, 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 blah. except it was all in Spanish, and I didn't speak Spanish that well. And I was like, hablo español un poco. And she understood that I was a complete maroon. I didn't actually speak Spanish, but was just trying, which was nice. That was kind of her to understand that. But she wanted to know how to get to a specific place in Greensboro, North Carolina, and being at the time from Greensboro, North Carolina, I actually knew where she was going. She was saying the street name, and I knew from her gesticulations that she wanted to go there. So I tried to give her directions in Spanish. Me. And I actually got it across to her somehow with much gesticulating and bobbing my head around and trying to think of Spanish words and phrases and being very humorous. But one of the things that she said is that my accent was funny. At least I think that's what she said, as close as I could approximate the English translation. I thought it was pretty funny too myself. I thought it was interesting that I even tried. But at any rate, I chalked it down as a success because I'm a positive person. And I always believe the best of me. You got that right, Fred. Who else is going to believe the best of you but you? Right? So I did. And it worked. And I was happy. And she was happy. You know, you make friends. This is how international relations are founded, is on friendship and reaching one's hand out and things of that nature. So that was good. But I still to this day, this was years ago, probably on the order of 30 some odd years ago, as the crow flies. But, you know, I tried. And it was an experience. And I still think about it to this day, as you can tell. Fred, I do have a life, actually. Okay, last item for this show. Some of you are breathing sighs of relief. This is a Black Panther movie non-spoilery review. I've been waiting for the Black Panther movie because it is part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU, and I'm a big fan of the MCU, and I've caught all of the Marvel movies so far, I think. Pretty much. Well, except Deadpool. There's a lot of cussing in that. I don't do cussing. So, and other naughtiness. Naughty. So I didn't watch that. But I saw most of the Marvel movies. Anyway, the point is that I was really looking forward to the Black Panther movie because I really enjoy Black Panther, and I've always, when he first came out in comics, I saw it, and I was like, dude, this is cool. And I liked his whole, you know, honorable African thing that he had going on. And, you know, I was an art student. Yeah, an art student. I got a 4.5-year degree, a BFA in Fine Art, Studio Art, BFA, and painting, printmaking, and photography. I did it to get the photography part because I had decided I was going to just be a professional photographer. That didn't work out so well. And I ended up going into computers, and the rest, as they say, is history. But I digress. The point is that how did I get off on photography? Do you remember? Oh, my degree. Yes, I got a degree in art. I knew it had something to do with something. But anyway, I got a degree in art. And one of the things that I had to take was art history. I had to take a lot of art history, which basically consisted of me sitting in a dark auditorium with a slide projector running, which, as you know, has a motor with a fan that goes white noise constantly, and an instructor that just droned on in the same tone of voice about the history of art objects d'art. And one of the courses I had was African art history. And we talked about all the African culture and the carvings and the shields and the various things, that fascinating stuff. And I really enjoyed that class. More than most art history classes, because most of them you had to fight going to sleep. It was terrible. But I did okay. So, you know, even to this day, we're talking, I mean, that was 1978. This is 2018. There's some number of years that is, but it's a lot. And that was a long time ago. And the thing about it is, to this day, I occasionally dream that I'm still in college and I'm late for class. Isn't that odd? I think everybody does that to one degree or another. But anyway, being late to an art history class, that's not a bad thing. But anyway, again, I digress. The point is that I enjoyed a lot of stuff about African art history. And this movie has actually some African art in it. It's kind of a plot point at one point. So cool. But here is my non-spoilery review. Indulge me, if you will, because it's slightly serious. And I'm not really that serious most of the time. The Black Panther movie was awesome! Here is my non-spoilery review. First, you have to see this movie. Second, this movie does more to advance the African-American heritage than any movie has in a long time. The good guy in this movie is a good guy. He is thoughtful, strong, honorable, wise. He thinks deeply. He cares deeply. He honors his father, even when he discovers his father is only human and not perfect. You know, there's a point in time that all children realize that their father is not walking on water. You know what I'm saying? Comes as a great shock, but it actually is true. So, he honors tradition, talking about T'Challa here, the hero. And he is, dare I say it, truly patriotic in a good way. He shows that patriotism can be a strength, not a weakness or a flaw, like so many people think it is today. The movie unflinchingly shows negative historical events, mistakes of the past, both of individual people and of cultures and of countries. I mean, let's face it, we've made mistakes through the years. But it does all this without leaving it that those mistakes, issues, and problems are insurmountable. You can rise above them. You can win over your baser nature. Getting on my soapbox here a bit. African culture is shown as a positive, strong culture in a strong light, but other races are not diminished to do so. They don't have to take down all the other races to lift themselves up, is my point. So, rather, the movie shows that any culture can rise and overcome if it has strong core values that are maintained. Good ones, obviously. Wakanda, the country in the movie, as a nation is the most technically advanced nation on the planet. Now, they don't tell the rest of the planet this to start with, but they are. And for all their superior engineering, riches, and culture, they end up, by the end of the movie, helping the world, not rubbing the nose of the world's other countries in it. They could have, but they don't. They don't have to scream, "We are awesome." They simply are awesome. The very last scene demonstrates this. I won't give it away. This is a non-spoilery review after all. But a gentle smile says it all. I like that. They don't shout, they don't scream, they just smile. Go see this movie and celebrate African heritage with our brethren of African origin. This is how art can influence culture positively. Positively. You get it. The point is, setting aside the silliness a little bit, a lot of people want to be all mean and nasty and yell and scream and fuss at each other and all that kind of stuff. This movie lifts people up, brings people together, shows that we can help one another. These are things that movies need to be showing us these days. And we need to embrace one another and one another's cultures. I really like this. You know, in the old days, they used to say that you had a token black guy in the movie. Well, this had 2 token white guys. The villain was one, and the good guy who was played by Martin Freeman. He wasn't being a hobbit or Watson. No, he was being a CIA agent. He was playing an American, and he's British. I always find it weird when British people do American accents and actually sound American. It's a little odd. It means that American accents are actual accents instead of lack of accents. You know what I'm saying? It's weird. But anyway, he played a CIA agent, and I'll leave it there because this is non-spoilery. But you need to go see this movie. It's a good movie. You can enjoy the popcorn, and then you could go and sit around your lunch table or supper table, or whenever you see the movie, and discuss it with your family and friends and wax philosophical. It's cool. So, that'll do it for this show. Join us next time. Remember, until then, that the doctor is out of here.
Dr. Bill, the Computer Curmudgeon, is a production of DrBillBailey.net with all the honors, rights, and privileges thereunto appertaining.